Dear students, today we will discuss about introduction to macroeconomics and various macroeconomic variables affecting the business as well as its implications for the managers for decision making. At the end of this session, I expect you to understand various important macroeconomic variables and their significance for the business as well as how they are useful for the managers for decision making. Let us start with the first concept, that is introduction to macroeconomics. We all know that unlike the older days where business was a simple transaction between the buyer and seller, whereas now in the modern days business is very dynamic and it is very fast changing. Maybe this is the reason why some of the management gurus equate business with a creature like amoeba, which always changes its shape every second. Like amoeba changes its shape every second, business also changes its shape every second. And this changing business environment throws lots of challenges as well as opportunities at the managers. Hence, it becomes the responsibility of the managers to deal with these challenges as well as encash upon the opportunities provided by the market. But the manager's ability to exploit the market opportunity or his ability to deal with the challenges depends upon how well he understands, interprets and forecasts the fast changing business environment. And remember, this business environment is full of headwinds as well as tailwinds. These two concepts of headwinds and tailwinds are borrowed from aviation terminology. Headwinds refers to the adverse business situation facing the company, whereas tailwinds refers to the favorable situations for the business. To save the business during the headwinds and to thrive and grow during the time of tailwinds, manager should be able to understand, predict, interpret and forecast the changes affecting the business environment. Therefore, the modern day manager has to run his business amidst both headwinds as well as tailwinds. Like I said earlier, his ability to manage his business and his company will be always judged by how well he understands the economic environment in which he is operating. Therefore, managers have to cope with economic environment at two levels. The first level at the firm level. Here the business environment is totally given, fixed and it is decided by primarily by the structure of the market, be it monopoly, monopolistic or duopoly. Whereas in the second level he has to deal with economic environment at macro level. The economic environment at firm level can be easily managed because things will be always under the control of an managers, whereas no company or no manager would be able to influence the macroeconomic environment because it is beyond his control and it is the domain and prerogative of government agencies and government. Therefore, the reason why managing macroeconomic environment is more challenging and of greater importance for managers is that macroeconomic variables are not constant, they are not fixed, they are not given. Rather, macroeconomic environments are always variable, they are dynamic and they are constantly changing. For example, any firm you take, when a firm takes a decision about be it new investment it assumes that there are certain variables which are fixed in nature, or it assumes that there are certain fixed variables which are given. For example, it assumes that always demand for its product will grow at a stable rate or at a constant rate. Second assumption, it believes that interest rate in the market will be always stable and fixed. Third assumption, they believe that there will be a stability in the price level. It means the rate of inflation is going to be constant. Fourth assumption, they believe that tax rates fixed by the government are going to be stable and given. And fifth assumption, they believe that exchange rate are not going to fluctuate, or even though they fluctuate, it is going to be minimum. But we all know that none of these variables are going to be stable, constant or given. Rather, all these variables together or collectively will be continuously changing, and no company, however big it can be, and no manager, however successful he can be, would be able to influence these variables. Therefore, the top line of the company or the bottom line of any best management company can badly get eroded by any such sudden changes in these macroeconomic variables. Therefore, to run a successful business between headwinds and tailwinds, the understanding of macroeconomics and the macroeconomic policies is of utmost importance to the manager for the following reasons. First one is to understand how an economy functions. Second one, to come to a judgment about the direction of government policies. Third one is to arrive at a decision on timing of fresh investment, takeovers, penetration to a new markets, etc., and ultimately to get the best return on investment. Once we understand the introduction to macroeconomics, now let us go for the objectives of macroeconomic policies. The objectives of macroeconomic policies are twofold. The first objective is achieving sustained growth in the production of goods and services in the economy, and second objective is maintaining the stability in general price level. To achieve these two twin objectives, there are macroeconomic tools available with the government. The macroeconomic policy objectives are always achieved by two important macroeconomic tools, namely the first one is fiscal policy and the second one is monetary policy. We all know that the conduct of fiscal policy in India is primarily the responsibility of the Ministry of Finance and Government of India, and for the conduct of monetary policy, the primary responsibility always rests with the Reserve Bank of India, which is considered as the Central Bank of India. On one hand, fiscal policy tries to achieve its objectives by changing government expenditure as well as its tax rates. On the other hand, monetary policy tries to achieve its objectives by changing money supply and thereby interest rate and credit availability in the economy. The macroeconomic policy tools like fiscal policy and monetary policy as well as its instruments will always collectively affect and influence the aggregate demand in the economy, the aggregate prices in the economy, interest rates in the economy, exchange rates in the economy and tax rates in the economy, which in turn will affect and influence the business environment. As I conclude this video, I hope you have got a fair idea of the significance of macroeconomics and the macroeconomic variables affecting the business, and also the reasons for which manager should study macroeconomics. Thank you.